Hello, everyone. Thanks for showing up. Hello, Polly. Hello, Mom Otto. That's another one of our Kathy. Hello, Very Nice. Hello, Chance. Thanks for coming back. We appreciate you. Can everyone hear me just fine? No static, no nothing before I turn on the camera and get started. Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to give it perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for coming back. I'm going to go center myself with everybody's, hey, Tina, how are you? I'm going to go center myself and then we will start in about 2 minutes. Okay. If you guys could tap and give me hearts, that would be great. That helps to get out the algorithm out to people. I think people are really going to want to know what we're talking about tonight because we're talking about Uranus. All right, here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming back. Thanks for coming in tonight if you've never seen us before. This is a lovely group of people, old souls. My name is Cindy. If you've never seen me before, I am at Simply Cindy. I'm a psychic medium. I love astrology. It's a passion of mine. I have lots of tools in my basket. I do lots of things. So, welcome tonight. We're going to be talking. I've been diving deep into these planets. For me as a medium, I have a very unique perspective. I see these planets as characters and they have personalities to me. Because if you think of who I am, I'm a translator. I translate energy, I translate language, I translate that, right? So, um, these planets in astrology are here to help you. These planets on Earth, off of Earth, in the universe are here to help you. Um, so this is just my way to sort of help tell the story that they're telling, right? They give us clues. Again, astrology, I've said this before, that's why I said again. Astrology, it's not, things aren't written in stone. We always have free will. We are energetic beings, so we can change stuff, and we have lots of paths that we can go on, right? And so I think of astrology as just sort of the way that we could go, whether we want to or not. We still have our opinions and our perspectives. So nothing's written in stone. The future is not written in stone. Um, Yeah, it's not. It's malleable. It moves, it shifts, it changes with every thought, with every interaction, with every focus, with every emotion, right? So, welcome everyone again. Thank you so much for being here. Tonight we will be talking about Uranus. I think I said that. We've been diving deep into some of the planets. We did Venus, we did Mars, we did Pluto last night, we did Jupiter, and tonight we're going to talk about Uranus. Uranus, as much as Pluto is a big focus or had been in my life, we all have like a ruling planet that rules our chart. Uranus rules mine. So yeah, so I act a lot Uranian. I act people can see a lot of Uranian in me. Um, yeah, and you can see it in my life too. So you'll see people that are changing all the time, people that yeah, that are forward thinking, all of that. I'll explain Uranus to everybody. But hey, Helen. Ellen. I don't know why I said Helen. Hey, Ellen, how are you? Uh, and Witch. Thank you so much for buying me coffee, but you actually bought me dinner. I have not gone to eat the dinner that you bought me, but when I do, I'll take a picture of it and I'll put it on our community tab. How about that? So when I get to do it. Uh, we talked the other night about Jupiter and how in retrograde, what it's kind of, it's given us all these things, it's shown us all these paths and saying, okay, now that your path is sort of laid before you, it's time to like put some more energy into it, sort of ground it. And that's what I've been doing in my life, coming on here every night. Um, I planned on coming on Friday, Monday through Friday, and that was only because of you guys that are buying me coffee, ordering, coming and working with me, and doing private readings and herbs, and um, coming here every night and sharing and liking and hearting all that stuff. That's allowed me to be able to do the Monday through Friday. But that's Jupiter saying, look, we've opened this path for you. How serious? It's not how serious. It's like, are you ready to like really ground it, really put the work in, right? And I have. I always have. I'm not afraid of work. I think our generation just is not. So that's sort of what I've been doing. I'm trying to make some sort of, remember, I have to balance my North Node and South Node, Virgo and Pisces. So I don't want to over plan. I don't want to over schedule, but I want to sort of have a light guiding schedule because it makes things easier for me. So that's sort of what I've been doing there today. We're going to be starting the membership. So I'm starting to, because in the membership, um, I'm going to do astrology per sign, and we're going to go really, this is where we can go really, really deep. It's not like we don't go deep here, but I can spend time with a particular thing, like a particular aspect or a particular sign or a particular house, right? So that's kind of what I've been doing during the day, as well as the private readings and the hypnosis and all of that. So again, I could not do that without you guys, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do my work, which I love. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So, Kathy's here. Hey, Kathy. Let's see. Everybody doing okay now that I did my intro and spiel? See, sometimes I'll do the intro right in the beginning. Sometimes I'll do the intro and then kind of stop it, and then we'll kind of talk, and then I'll do it again. Like, it just kind of depends. um, the other thing about this group, if you've never been here, I wear PJs, right? I wear PJs, and I'd like for everybody to wear PJs, but everybody doesn't have to wear PJs. Um, the whole point is just to be comfortable, just to be relaxed. There's enough going on in the world. We want this place to be a place where you're learning, you're bonding, you're growing together. Maybe get some answers that you've always had questions about. Um, yeah, so in order to get us into that space, I wear PJs. I love my PJs and my robe. And I'm happier today because it was cooler today. I was not happy yesterday. It was, I think the high today was 64, 63. I mean, I'd really like 50, but I'll take 60. At least I can wear my robe, right? So you guys are welcome to wear your robe. Grab a drink, grab some coffee. I'll drink coffee. I am a Gemini sun, so I will have coffee and Dr. Pepper. PJ's teas. Yes, exactly. PJ's teas. And I mean, some of you prefer to wear nothing, and that's okay too. Just don't need to see it all that, right? Mm. So, with everything that's going on in the world, I thought Uranus would be, especially with Milton going the way that it's going, having the hurricane, having another hurricane that we just had that devastated North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee. We all know the thing that's going on. Anyway, I figured Uranus, because I haven't gotten to talk about Uranus in Taurus. I figured we'd go over that tonight. And so, but before we do that, I just want to make sure, see how everybody's doing, make sure everybody's okay. You guys can hear me. I know because you said so in the beginning. How are you guys? Anybody in Florida? Anybody had to leave Florida? Anybody have family in Florida? How's that going for everybody? And I'll kind of wait for the responses. Athena, how are you? I have family in Florida. Oh, okay. Are they okay? Did they get out of it? Are they in the path of it? We did that exercise the other night. I'm telling you, something's up with that. Yeah. My niece is in Oviedo, Florida. My aunt is staying at a hotel. My my cousin is going to a shelter. Oh, good. At least they have, thank God they have some place. Good, Cindy. How are you? Thanks for asking. I'm doing really well, especially today since it was cooler and misting. My nephew is in Fort Myers, but he's safe. Yeah. Yeah. My good energy is going that way. Our good energy, I know, is going that way. Everything is blocked to evacuate. Everyone is stuck there. Yeah. So here's the thing. The other night when we were doing the exercise, when we were playing the game, remember when we were playing the game? When we were playing the game, that's why I had you guys take some of the energy from it in case it was being manipulated, right? So not only was I asking that we see it go to the water, but I was asking to take that energy from it too. That if it hits land, it's not gonna do as much damage. Um, but again, we're playing the game, and so I don't know. I don't know if y'all could feel. I could feel there was something there. Um, anyway, it hasn't landed yet. We'll see what it does. We did what we had to do. We did our part. And again, I said, do not attach um, to it. Just do it and then let it go and see what happens. Through my practice, through my experience, that's the best way to do it because you can keep your emotions attached to it and all of that, but it kind of goes wonky when you do that. I was just watching a live from a YouTube that's staying put just outside Tampa. It is not too bad yet. Minor flooding and only a few trees down so far. Yeah, good. Thank you. Thank you for updating us. Yeah. I mean, my intention was dissipating it, because it's easier to dissipate it than it is to like make it move, especially if we've got other energies on it, you know. Like I said, that's my experience with things. That's the way that I do it. There are many different ways to do it, but that's the way that I do it. Have not heard from her tonight, but she and her husband are old hands at hurricanes and are loaded for bear. It did land at 8:30. Okay, so it did land. It landed as the category 3. Okay. It landed an hour ago. Storm surges much higher than expected. Okay. Yeah, and those that couldn't go out, I'd already put some. If they couldn't leave, I was like, that's not their fault. So I put white light over them. Whether they were like, I'm not leaving, or whether they just couldn't leave, either one. I don't want to happen in what happened in North Carolina and East Tennessee. Like, we don't want to repeat that stuff. And here's the thing. Hmm. What's the other one on the outer side? It did move a little south, so that was a good thing. Lots were putting energy towards making it lessen or move across the world. Yeah, I did see that other people had the same idea that we had, and that is so great. That's what I mean about Aquarian space that we're moving into. Like you're gonna see, this is what I saw in 2007. Lots of little groups that we're all on the same page, but we keep our anonymity. Does that make a little bit more sense? It's like we all kind of have this bigger consciousness that we know, and we are just doing it in our groups. Does that make sense? Um, it's hard to explain a future when you don't have anything to like reference it. I mean, I could reference it to the old days when people were when it was smaller villages. Kind of the only thing I could reference it for, but it's more advanced than that. Um, what's the other storm? Is it on the other side or down? Because I feel like those two storms are going to hit the hurricane, which is going to be a storm when it goes over, right? When it's finished. I feel like they're gonna. I feel like they're gonna come together, and I feel like they come back. Ugh. I don't know if this is right. This is what I'm feeling. I feel like they meet up and then they come back. Not to Florida though, up higher. Yeah. But I could be wrong. But that's what I'm feeling. I don't know what the other storm is, or is it a hurricane yet? It's a storm, right? But when I saw that, I think I saw it yesterday or today or last night or something. And I was like, ooh, that looks like it's gonna, it's like I saw it. I saw them connecting, getting bigger and coming back, but not back to Florida. Like North Carolina again? South Carolina? I don't know, somewhere there. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But here's the thing, it's Uranus, right? Hello, everyone. First time here. I'm just kind of getting into astrology and was wondering if the goal is to overcome letting the planets dictate our emotions and actions. What are your thoughts? Do you guys have any thoughts about that? Hi, Beyond All. Welcome. Um, I have thoughts about it, but I want to see what they say. So let's just see what they say. Because you got some very wise people in here. Yes and no. Yeah. Yeah. I was wondering if the goal is to overcome letting the planets dictate your emotions and actions. Yeah. Planets don't dictate emotions, they're energy that can guide and direct. Perfect. You guys are good. You guys are good. I would say it's more to guide us. Perfect. Yep. That's kind of our perspective here in this group. This is kind of our understanding here in this group. Um, it's kind of what I'd said before. Maybe that's why I said it. I just got through saying these planets are, well, first of all, if your perception is the planets are against me, the universe is against me, I'm always being attacked, blah, blah, blah. Well, of course, that you would see it that way, right? I have to overcome. I have to, it's always a struggle. It's da 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 da, right? We've sort of understood that and beyond. These planets are here to help you. They are a frequency, they're an energy. Again, as a medium, I see them as characters and they have personalities. And that's all information to help you. You don't have to overcome. So let me give you an example of what I said. Jupiter wants you to have wisdom and abundance. So Jupiter is going to help you do that, right? Pluto um, wants you to have power, wants you to recognize your power, wants you to step into your power. Um, and Uranus, what we're going to be talking about tonight, wants you to have your freedom, right? And so with these planets, if you look at them in that perspective, then you can kind of see, oh, so when Pluto takes this away from me, I can only be afraid for so long until I step up and do what my soul wants to do. Or when Jupiter needs me to understand, because Jupiter wants me to be have wisdom and abundance. In order to have this abundance, I keep doing this pattern that is not giving me my abundance. So maybe Jupiter shows me how that works so that I can step into my abundance, right? The way it's like Uranus as well. I'm going to need to step it up. I'm going to need to do something to shake it up. I'm going to need to, because Uranus is genius, electricity, freedom, revolution, all of that, right? But he wants you to have that. He wants you um, to have that freedom, to have that independence, to have that innovation, to create and to be, right? And so you use Uranus in that way. Does that make sense to you? Beyond all? Yes. Athena says astrology is a map. Perfect. Ellen says, I think it's more to become aware of how the energies will affect you and others, allowing you to make better decisions. Yep, exactly. Well put, Ellen. Choice is an element. Understanding astrology aids the wise choice. Perfect. I love that. I like that. Thanks. That question has been on my mind as I have been conflicted on this question. Yes, thank you. We got some really, really, really smart people in here. You're all smart. Let me say that. We got some wise souls here. We've got some really old souls in this group. So please, if you have any questions, even if I'm talking, if you see the teacher come out and I'm teaching and if somebody has a question, I don't see it, you guys are welcome to answer it. That's what this group is really, really wise. Just soul wise. They just kind of know. So, hi, Rhonda. How are you? So, you have your own path and you have your own unique perspective, as so do I, and so do each one of you. And so I'm just telling you from my lens, from my perspective, from my perception, and my relationship with these planets and the universe and Mother Earth and the moon and the asteroids and the points and the black holes and the all of it, right? I'm just telling you from my perspective as a medium, and I don't see them as a hindrance. I don't see them as something to overcome. I see them as showing me what parts of me I want to understand more, and giving me a roadmap to sort of help guide me, not do it for me, but help guide me through that. Okay. But I know a lot of people who think that the world is against you, the universe is against you, Mother Earth God's against you, everybody's against you, right? And I'm nobody to say that that's wrong. That's why I say to you guys, it is beyond right or wrong. This is not about right or wrong. And when we can get beyond that, when we can get past that, there are bigger things that we can understand, right? But I get it when you want to know who's right and who's wrong, but we're sort of evolving past that point, because you're not wrong for thinking the way that you think. It is your perception, and you as a human came down here to have your own unique perception perspective, right? So it's not wrong. It's like an atheist not believing in anything bigger than himself, right? Um, at least that's my understanding of an atheist. So if your belief is that you don't understand and that you don't have any, that there's nothing bigger than you, that's not the wrong thing. It's your path. It could be because I do hypnosis. I've seen where the person was very, very religious for many, many, many lives and has come here in this life to have the absence of religion. They wanted to experience that, to have the absence of the connection to source. They wanted to experience that. Does that make sense? Yeah, I've seen that. Mm. In the grand scheme, nothing and no one controls or dictates you. Right. You surrender or comply to societal rules, and stress comes from going against what you believe instinctually. Absolutely. Some people, Gnostics mostly, consider the planets archons that cause suffering in this world. But I can see that perception, sorry. I can see that perception is an individual reality for each of us. Yes. Just like it's my perspective, my perception that everyone that I encounter is mirroring me. Because my belief, my understanding, my unique way is that we are all one. And so we've separated, but we're not really separated. And so the people that come in front of me, the situations that come in front of me, the things that come in front of me, those are all mirroring parts of me. Does that make sense? I believe the planets are messages from heaven to help guide us and let us know that we're not alone. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah. And none of those beliefs are wrong. It's not wrong and it's not right. Right? It's your belief. And you as a human have that. You're doing what you're supposed to do, is having your perspective. Whether that's the same as society or whether that's very different than society, it's still what you've come to do, is have your perspective, right? And I think like Rhonda's right. We I think of it as a roadmap. Ellen has and I have said that before. Like I see it just like a roadmap. Like your natal chart, to me, they've shown me, it's like the image I get is they took a snapshot, a picture, the moment you were born, and that's your roadmap. And then they said, here you go. These things will help you. Fear is useless. We have some hard roads. It helps to develop a bring it on mentality and learn as much as you can about where life is pushing you. Yep. React after much considered thought. Yeah. Yeah, I think most of us have, I want to say that most of us are like that in this group at least. Like, uh, we're not afraid. I know that we can get in our head sometimes about things, but I think we're pretty much, let's do it and then think about it later. Get it done. Let's just get it done. Like if you think about it, you guys have been through so much that, I mean, it's just a psychological fear if you let it get to you. But I think I was saying this last night. I already know, working with Pluto, if it is the one thing that I fear, I will run to it. I will jump. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I just know to jump and do it. And it has turned out the best for me every time. If I don't, it lingers and it comes back around in a different way, and it keeps coming back around in a different way, and it keeps coming back around, right? The only way that I've been able to clear that is to jump and just do. Even if I have like no way of landing, it's like I just jump. I've just learned that, right? Let's see. I'm a spiritual being human. Better than 6 ticket ride at a theme park. Yes. Ellen says, I think the universe has a sense of humor and may have hooked up with GPS to send us down these dead end roads and dirt roads just to see if we could figure it out. I wouldn't doubt it. I really wouldn't doubt it. I agree, Chance. That's how I get through. I have no fear. Yeah. Like, there's only so much fear you can have before you just fight back and don't have any fear. And I think this group is that. Like, we have been, how do I say this? My Saturn part wants to come out and say, you have been tested. No, we have been in such fear throughout our lives. Some of us when we were very young, some of us when we were not so young, and some of us, no, let me say most of us a lot of times, right? And so it's like you can only have so much fear, or even fight, flight, or freeze is not working anymore. You're just like, yep, whatever, let's do it, right? You get so afraid, and you get so afraid so many times that you're like, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm just not afraid anymore, right? So, Mom Otto says, my emotions are out of control and I lost it twice today. I know I have to get a grip. Well, remember we're having these, I told you we were going to have that, I don't know why I'm calling it an emotional trine, right? But it's a water trine. So our emotions right now, this whole month, can get the best of us, right? So you're not in the wrong space. You're in the right space. And here's the thing, Kathy, Mama Otto. Some of y'all had not even allowed yourself to be in those spaces and heal those parts, or realign those parts, or even look at those parts. Like, some of you never got to grieve. Some of you never got to cry. Some of you never got to do that stuff. You weren't allowed. You didn't know how. You'd forgotten because it was beaten out of you, or you were told not to, or you were made not to, right? And so you grow up like this, and then it becomes the habit. And so anytime you have an emotional anything, you shut it down to protect yourself, right? And so some of you need to be in that space where you're finally validating what you feel. Most of you never got to validate how you feel. You were never validated, and you never validated yourself either. And you didn't validate yourself because you didn't know how. You weren't taught. You weren't allowed. You didn't even get to look at that because you weren't allowed, right? And so now is the time to be able to validate all of that. Now is the time to, that's what I mean when I tell you guys to be gentle with yourself. If you're going to be a crybaby, be a crybaby. So what? Validate your feeling. A feeling is a feeling. An emotion is an emotion. Validate it. Don't say, oh, get over it already. Or, oh, I mean, I used to do that to myself. Like, I remember I used to say, oh my God, I can't stand my Aquarius side right now. Like, I get on my own nerves. And that's because I didn't get to validate those feelings, right? And so to protect myself, it was like, keep moving. Texas. If you're from Texas, if you're born in Texas, you know how they are. Gen X, you know how they are. You break a leg, you break an arm, yeah, rub it off, keep going. Like, dust it off and keep it going. You never got to validate your feelings. There's nothing wrong. In fact, there's everything right, especially in a trine like this, to validate your feeling, validate your emotion. So what? Who cares if, and this is just an example, who cares if you're jealous of somebody else? Just because society says you shouldn't be and you should be the bigger person? How many times do I have to tell you, look where society's at? Do you think they did the right thing? No. Validate your feeling. Understand why it's there. and then say, okay, do I want to continue this or do I want to grow from this? But you haven't even looked at it or allowed yourself to sit in it to be able to work through it. You're all of us have got these things in our head through generations. Don't be a wuss. Don't be too soft. Don't be too loving. Don't be too clingy. Don't be too happy. Don't be too. I told you, do not dim your light. Don't dim the light. Shine bright. And if that means I need to have a breakdown for a month, for a day, for an hour, for a week, for 2 years, then that's what that means for me to realign. The fact that you are not allowing yourself, you're not going to be able to move through this. You just have to validate you. Cowboy up, it's the Texas way. Yeah, exactly. Right? Chance says life can be so as bitter as a dragon tears, but whether dragon tears are bitter or sweet is only a perception, right? Exactly. I have moon at 29 degrees, says Rhonda, in Sagittarius. And every time the moon transits over my moon where things happen, I get like a very important message that are important to help guide me. Has anyone else? Yeah. So that's interesting. My moon's a Sagittarius, but it's not 29 degrees. You've got a very well-rounded moon in Sagittarius. Like it's gonna know the most, and it's where you close things out, right? So, interesting proverb, right? Suck it up, buttercup. Exactly. I have been validating. I love you guys. Holly said, I have been validating myself all day. What a mess. So what? So you're a mess. So what? Look at me. Look, like, so what? So what if you're a mess? Be the beautiful mess. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And if you're worried about what society's going to say, who cares what society says? They're so messed up right now. Like, our society needs so much help. I don't care what they think of me. I don't care. You all have been through so much. Why do you care what they think? You shouldn't. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares if you don't brush your hair? Who cares if you're crying? Who cares if you're laughing? Who cares? First of all, it's nobody's business. I want you to be your authentic. This is the space that we have been in that they're trying to get us through. And by they, I mean your higher selves, source, these planets, the universe, Mother Earth. Okay? All of it. I told you, we are moving to a space where we all want the space that we dream of, this vision that we see of how we want to live together, how we want to live together on this earth. And that requires authenticity. That's the space that we're moving to. Okay, authenticity. But you cannot be authentic if you don't even know yourself. You cannot be authentic if you've never allowed yourself to have your feelings. This is the big Saturn in Pisces, right? Neptune in Pisces. Pluto going into Aquarius, right? This North Node in Aries. Who am I? Who am I? When I try to be myself, society, Chiron, when I try to be what I really want to be, I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed either because society says, I'm not allowed because I don't have the resources, I'm not allowed because I don't think I'm smart enough, I'm not allowed because I've never had the opportunity, I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed, I'm not allowed, I'm not allowed. There's a wound there that we are trying to heal. All of us. To move. We've moved into this new space. We are going into authenticity because that's how we see the world. like in our future. That's what we envision. That's what we want. We don't care what each of us does as long as nobody harms each other, one another, as long as people aren't harming one another. We know that we can live better. We know that we don't have to have all these rules. We know, but it's almost like we can see ourselves being authentic, but we don't even know what that is because we have all these masks. We have to, I got to be better. I got to do better. Oh, I can't say that. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I'm going to offend somebody. Fuck that. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? We have been told for so long that we must care. But guess where that got us? Look at the mess we're in. The only way to be is to be your true self. But you need to know what that is. And that's what we're going through. To be your true self. Good morning, Karina. How are you? Does that all make sense to you guys? Authenticity. I can do that. It is dealing with insurance and doctors that makes me feel like I'm building sand castles with dry sand. I know. Chance, you're not telling me anything new. I know. It's why I left the healthcare industry. It's why I left it. I first of all, they're not there to cure you. They never said they were. It changed in 1973? 1973 with the Rockefellers, with the letter. They're not there to cure you. They're not there. They're not even there. I'm not saying there aren't good souls because there are a lot of good souls in healthcare, right? But they have had their heads down like everybody else in society. They have been taught to be in a box and they've had their heads down because they're overworked. Let's keep them busy so they don't ask questions, right? Let's keep them busy so they don't ask questions. And the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies, they're all there. Money, 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 right? Like, we have plants. Don't get me started on these herbs. We have plants. I know for a fact. I'm going to tell you from my point of view. You guys know I have lupus. Well, officially I have lupus, but you can't even see it. So I don't know. I don't think I have lupus anymore, but there's no such thing as you don't think you have it anymore. So whatever, right? I thought everybody knew this, but when I said this to somebody the other day, they said they'd never heard this, okay, from me. So I'm going to say this again. I was once on 30 pills a day. You know how many I take now? Since I went through my whole thing with herbs. Thank God for my mother. Thank God I knew herbs. Then I studied herbalism, as well as knowing the folk part of it because of my mother. Right? Because that's what I do. I research the shit out of something until I completely understand it. And in that journey, do you know how many I take now? I take 0. I take 0. And that is fighting with my doctors at some points during my treatment where I'm like, I'm not doing this. I don't care what y'all say. I'm not doing this. Or finding good doctors that would work with me. And luckily I know what I'm talking about. So I would say, if something came up, I'd say, give me 2 weeks, give me 3 weeks. Let's see what we can do. And they would work with me. Right? So I know for a fact, it's not just in the books, and it's not just what my grandmother told me, and it's not just what my mother told me, even though I would trust all of that. It's not just in the books. I've lived it. 30 pills to nothing. And I can hike mountains. And I can work out. And I'm not on needing, oxygen. And I'm not needing anything. And if I do happen to have a flare because I have something, a wound that comes up emotionally, and then, something comes out, or I happen to go in the sun and something, comes up, I know exactly what to do. Herbs are not the herbs, God, source, our higher selves, this earth, these planets, this universe has given us everything that we need on this planet to not just survive, but to thrive. Everything. Okay? Now, me, not just me personally, and I can't say this publicly because they don't want you guys knowing. So I always have to put it on me. But remember that I have a science background and I like to come with evidence. So if you can just imagine that I probably have evidence of a lot of things that I cannot say. Does that make sense? These herbs are here and they're here to help, and they're not pharmaceuticals where you need to take them for the rest of your life. They're here until you don't need them anymore, and all of a sudden you'll just be like, oh, I don't need that anymore. Because you're aligned. And then emotionally you've gone through this. This is my work. This is why I put you under, so that you have the connection and you understand. And then we use the herbs as sort of the bridge until your body makes that the habit. Does that make sense? Yeah. Wish I could join your live, but I have work. Sorry, Athena. I can watch it later. Good luck at work. Think I'm going to reclaim my old motto. F them if they can't take a joke. Exactly. You should. Exactly. No profit, no cures. Yeah. One herbalist to another. So exactly. Like, that's why I'm so excited for you guys, for you and Polly. I'm so excited that we connected. We're going to be the facility over here. You're going to be the facility in Texas. We've got other people that are going to be joining us at some point, and they'll make themselves known when it's time. And they're going to have facilities all over. And I call it a facility, but it's really not a facility. It's just the closest thing I can think to call. Stop. Hold on just a second. Sorry, my grandson came in. I got to keep it my grandson private off screen. So I thought he was going to run in front of the camera, but he didn't. His mama came and grabbed him. He wants to see his grandma. Anyway, what I was saying is facility is the thing that I can say, but that seems too mechanical. It's more than that. It's more than that. But we're not the only ones. Holly and Chance are doing the same thing that we're trying to do over here too. But there's going to be others coming too. We need them all over. We need them everywhere. We need all of us everywhere to do our part. Whatever that part is. Whatever that part is. Does that make sense? None. Unity, that's okay. I have a couple of lives on the channel already, plus lots of videos of our critters and landscapes in Arizona. Feel free to browse and watch. I need to go over there to your channel, Ellen, and support you. So true. I've been going crazy because I lost car keys to a rental while out of town. So they're charging me $850 unless I find them. Oh my goodness. Wow. Very true. I did cry, but I was ignored. I know. That's what I was saying before. Some of you were never allowed to. I was a pharmacy tech for 14 years. I watched meds take people down. So happy cancer made me quit that job. One good thing came of it. Yep, absolutely. I so want to say, if you work with me, then I can say these things to you. But I cannot say them in public like this. Um, yeah. This is the other stuff that I'm talking about in the membership too. Like, I just can't say it at this point. Yeah. No, no echinacea. And here's the thing. I make one of the best elderberry syrups. In fact, I'm making elderberry gummies and syrups for you guys. If you guys want to, yeah, for you guys. So I'm making a big batch, right? And I make the best elderberry with a whole bunch of good stuff in it, right? Both for men and women. It tastes so good. It's like the best. And I can't partake because anybody that has any issues with autoimmune should not be taking elderberry. And here's the other thing, and I'm going to say it because you guys can read between the lines, right? If I didn't have an autoimmune, then I would be taking elderberry, my elderberry. And what a lot of people don't understand is that echinacea or elderberry, either one, when you begin to get a cold or the flu or the other thing, you must stop taking those things. Those are only maintenance things, right? Because what elderberry will do will make it worse. Okay, just like it's the reason you don't want people with autoimmune on it either, because it just makes you flare. It makes it worse. So if I had an autoimmune, I would not take elderberry and I would not take echinacea. I have my own thing that I take, and it's a great combination. And I'm making that also because some of you may have diabetes, some of you may have lupus, some of you may have MS, some of you may have some autoimmune going on, right? And so I've got this other thing that I've put together, right? But just know, and this is something herbalists don't really say, and the medical field's not going to tell you because they don't freaking know. But if you're taking elderberry, when you begin to come down with something, stop the elderberry. If you're taking echinacea, stop, because it will make it'll make it worse. Okay. So, yeah, no echinacea for me. Safe havens, healing hut. Yeah. Sorry, I don't understand. What facilities? I subscribed, Ellen. Thanks. I'm not Cindy, just a human looking to connect to people, another human. You don't have to be me. My grandfather made elderberry wine alongside with dandelion wine. Yes. Very good. A large piece of land where people can gather to heal and learn. Yes. Thank you, Ellen. Why would anyone add venom? Banded crate and cobra in a vaccine. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. You were supposed to be talking about Uranus. Oh, we're supposed to be talking about Uranus. But I'm not going to make it happen. So, yeah. I think since we're talking about this, we'll just continue to talk about this. I may have to like retitle this. I may have to retitle this and then tomorrow I'll talk about Uranus. It doesn't look like we're going to be talking about Uranus. Yeah. Maybe we can. What do you guys think? Should we continue to talk about this? I kind of want to let it flow, and it's flowing very nicely. But we can talk about it tomorrow because, well, we can't talk about it tomorrow. We can talk about it Friday. Tomorrow, we have a special guest coming. So we can't talk about it tomorrow. We have a special guest coming. Yeah, I may have to like retitle this and put another thumbnail on this. What do you guys think? Uranus is a gas giant. I'll be good, but the one-liners kill me. Mm, 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 mm. I say keep going. Yeah, keep going. Let's just keep going. Anyway, what I was saying before about the elderberry, oh my God, it tastes so good that I want to, I love it. I just want to have it, but I can't have it. And I know it tastes good because I used to get, I have the thing where I can just get a little drop. Um, and now I'm allowing my daughter to take a little bit of it. So, um, it's really good. It's really good. And whether you want it in gummy bears or want it in a syrup, kind of up to you. But it is so good for you if you don't have autoimmune. Yeah, if you don't have an autoimmune. Well, a little elderberry extract in some frosting now, and again, probably wouldn't hurt just because. What about fatty liver, non-alcoholic? Dandelion. If I had fatty liver, I would begin with dandelion. Yeah. Yeah, I made a dandelion syrup too. I love making like syrups and chocolate bombs and truffles and out of my herbs. You're welcome. So here's the thing I'm going to tell you guys too. Now, I would be interested to see if it works around Polly and Chance because they have a lot of land, right? Or they're looking for a lot of land, or do you have a lot of land already? Um, but this is what I've found in my experience. And a lot of herbalists have seen this as well. And we're all starting to kind of take notice of this. But if you were to go outside, if you have yards, and look to see what's out there, like what's growing. 9 times out of 10, it's the weeds that they call weeds and herbs that you're needing. So, for example, right before COVID hit, all of us, like herbalists, were talking to each other, and I was seeing it too, that there was a lot of mullein, right? It was just growing, growing, growing. Like it was a big, huge harvest. And I remember one of the facilities was like, it's so much. I don't know what's going on. Um, and mullein is very good for lungs, very good for the deep, deep, deep lung, right? Um, and it was like, there was so much overgrowth of mullein everywhere that a lot of herbalists were noticing it. And sure enough, like it was crazy how much mullein there was. And sure enough, some of them were asking questions. They were like, why is there a lot of mullein? And then sure enough, we had COVID hit, right? I'm telling you, they don't want you to know this stuff, but Mother Earth knows exactly. So I always say when I'm starting to work with somebody and we're working with herbs, I always say, I want to know what's going around your house. I need to know what's growing around your house, especially if they're weeds. Because think of a weed; it's like coming up. It's trying to get your attention, right? And so there's apps where you can download and just take a picture, and they'll tell you what it is. So I would check around you and see what's growing, right? Uh, Well, a little elder. Oh no, see. What about fatty? Oh no, I answered that. Thanks. We know the place, just haven't been able to lock it in yet. Yeah, I think you will. I think we need to let a couple of things happen. There's a couple of things that Earth needs to happen first. I think just remember we're being guided, um, and so when it's time, it's going to be the perfect time, right? We have purslane. I may have bought some a few years ago and allowed it to spread, but it's good. It's a good one for a lot of things. Yeah, purslane is good. I treat myself to with essential oils internally. Dangerous if you, yeah, if you did not know the herbs, but the concentrations are very effective. Um, yes, the concentrations are very, it's very concentrated, but that's why I like to use. So I don't just make like the tincture. Again, I have a science background, so I'm doing mathematics, but and yeah, I mean, if you as an herbalist, you know, okay, 70% of this plant is going to need, you know, a certain percentage of water to extract and a certain percentage of alcohol to extract, right? And so when you play with that and get the right combination, that's why I write everything down. I log everything. I'm making sure everything. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's the right work, right? I don't use essential oils personally. Um, just because I think I can get the extraction by what I'm doing, dancing and singing and using the right combination of like elixirs, right? But every herbalist is different. That's what makes us all beautiful. Every herbalist is different. So not one's better than the other. We're just different, right? Mullein would clear your lungs like you've been turned inside out. Exactly. I'm laughing because Polly, I had somebody do that. Uh they called me up and they were family. They're family. And they called me up after I gave them Mullein and they were like, I just spit the devil out. This reminds me of what you said. Because they had all this congestion and it just came out. And she was and it was a family member of mine that just made me laugh. She was like, I don't know what happened. The devil came out of me. So that was funny. She was joking though. Uh, what for arthritis? I live next to a weed field. Yeah, so there's a couple of things for arthritis, but I would start with the inflammation part of it. But arthritis is more the joint, but you want to get the inflammation down, right? So if I was dealing with arthritis, I would be dealing with the inflammation part internally, and then topically, there's some things, right? But I'm working with you, Kathy. Uh, you just answered your own question. Not sure where you live, but if it's legal, you might want to look into it, right? Honey gets herbs into the blood past the stomach acid. Yeah. So it depends on, so I use all the mediums, right? I'll use glycerin, I'll use honey, I'll use alcohol, right? Um, and that's why I like it sublingual, because if you can do it sublingual, it'll bypass your whole digestive system and go into your blood system quicker, right? But I understand that if I make a tincture that tastes horrible, the person may not take it at all, right? So what's the point if they're not going to take it? So I try to like play with that a lot, but that's just me as an herbalist. Um, which is why I like to use like gummy bears and truffles and chocolate bombs and blah blah blah. It's different things. Yes, please, elderberry. Mullein is cowboy toilet paper. It's so good for a lot of things, right? It's so good for a lot of things. I'm in Michigan. Yeah. It's Mullen's a good that Mullen's great for a lot of things. I told you, Mother Earth gives us everything that we not just need, but that we want too. So yeah, that was funny when my My family member said that. But it does, it works. I mean, I wish I could tell y'all, like, I'm excited about some of the stuff, but yeah, chocolate balls. They're good too. They're really good. Yeah. So, like, what I'm saying is that's why I'll use the chocolate bomb. I don't want it to go through your GI system, but if that's the only way that you're going to take it, then I'll make the chocolate bombs for you, or I'll make the whatever for you. I'll make the candy mints, the butter mints for you. You know, Nobody wants to take their chaparral tea. Exactly, exactly. Which is, why. Um, which is why when I work with somebody, I'm like, I'm taking all that into consideration. It's not an easy feat, but when we have this place, that's the way I'm going to train my people, our people, is to be looking at that stuff and have those options, right? So, but I can tell you that, well, I can't tell you. I can't tell you specifically, but I can say that herbs with my eyes have helped a lot of people, and it's documented where nobody can come in and get my documentation. So just know that. Purslane is good. I'm just thinking about purslane, Ellen. Yeah. Hmm. Anybody have any comments, questions, anything like that? I am going to have to redo this thumbnail because we're not going to talk about Uranus. And it's so hard to talk about this thing. It's so hard. Mm. A psych versus chemotherapy. How about neither? How about we do it a different way? Here's what I'll say about. Uh, can I say that? Yeah. Here's what I'll say about something like cancer. And I almost got a doctor to do a study like this. He was on board with me. We were going to do this study, and then he couldn't get the funding for it because nobody would. Yeah, he couldn't get the funding for it. We tried. But with cancer, um, I've noticed that I haven't noticed. This is in my studies too. If one is showing signs of the it, or if they have it, you need to work on the anger that you've never got to. It's repressed anger. And so, and some people with cancer are like the happiest people, and they're like, why did I get it? Because it's repressed. I'm happy. There's nothing wrong. It's repressed. I've seen it too many times. And I've also seen, and this is the study, I almost got a director to do it. He wanted to do it so bad, but we couldn't get the funding for it. But I noticed that people with cancer were their partners or their spouses were the angry ones, and so theirs was repressed as well. Does that make sense? So Polly says, where Chance and I are right now, we can't get hardly anything natural It's depressing. Yeah. So do you have to grow everything? I mean, I use two different places where I've got, and I just so happened to move to the state or one of the places that I've always gotten them from. Um, but y'all have some good facilities down in Texas where you can get herbs and you can grow them too. What about thyroid? So with thyroid, it's tricky too because the medium, um, it's you got to know what you're doing when you're dealing with thyroid. So when you're doing thyroid, they can't have alcohol, they can't have the glycerin, and they can't have the honey. So you have to they have to do it in a tea. So you got to know plants that get most extracted from water and not the other mediums, right? Uh, Funny, my job made me angry every day, and my husband needs to work on his anger. But I'm usually happy, and breast cancer hit twice. Exhibit A. I wanted to do that study. I wanted that director that I worked with to do that study. We just there was no interest in it, and there wasn't going to be any funding for it. I mean, I couldn't even get the Google guys and the other guys to do it. So like there was just no interest in it. But I was like, can we do a study? I'm seeing this. I am seeing this pattern. So it, it yeah, I wish we could do a study. Maybe they've done a study since then. I don't know. This is about 10 years back, 12 years, 15 years back, 12, 10, somewhere through there. But yeah, see what Tina says? Wild harvest. But we are in a crappy area. Okay. Yeah. I have two places that I trust, and now one's become so mainstream that I'm not even ordering from that place anymore. But I've seen uh, with the other place those plants, and and their facility happens to be here in Oregon. Um, yeah, and I trust them, so I've been working with them. I don't even know, probably 8 years, 10 maybe. So slippery elm root, yep, burdock, sheep sorrel, Indian rhubarb, linacea. Cancer doesn't stand a chance, in my opinion. Nice. Yeah, very nice. So you guys saw um, what Chance said. So if anybody needs anything, there you go. Tina times two. You're a true survivor. Yeah, right. I'm not lying when I say. I guess it's because of the way that I say things sometimes that people think it's not as important, or maybe it's dismissive. I don't know. Yeah, it's just who I am. Like when I say you guys have been to hell, I mean that. Like I could see it. I've seen it. You guys have been through some the worst. You guys have had to deal with the worst of humanity. The worst of humanity, of what humans are capable of. That's all of us. Yeah. And you didn't just survive. You've thrived. You owned it. And you've come back to live. You've come back to life. That's who you are, each one of you. Um, I stopped using slippery elm because um, I heard, and this was what, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that it was getting really low. And so I decided to switch to other things than using slippery elm. The slippery elm is wonderful, but a lot of times I'll use mallow, mallow root, mallow, mallow, whatever, right? Um, just because I wanted to be part of, like, let's not completely take this away, you know? Yeah. Tina is oh, that's right, Tina. Yeah. Tina is my daughter, and all of my girls had cancer. That's right, Tina. I forget. I forget that you're Kathy's daughter. I don't know why. I know that, and I forget. Karina, I have psoriasis under my feet, and there is not one treatment for it that works. Doctors don't know why or what makes it appear. Do you know something that can help? Yeah, absolutely, Karina. I do. I do. There's like a couple of plants and topicals that I would help with until we understood, because with psoriasis, so psoriasis is an autoimmune, right? But um, there's a couple of things that I would work with you with, was how to release some of the trauma, and how to understand a different perspective, and finally decide that you want to live on this earth and live life instead of like, "Ugh, ugh, ugh." Is that true, Karina? Melaleuca? It is a joy dealing with monsters. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Catherine Ann, for saying anything for the lymphatic system, because that reminds me, Wendy had asked me to do um, resetting your vagus nerve, right? And all day I was thinking, don't forget on the live to do the resetting the vagus nerve. And I forgot until Catherine just said that, because I also need to do draining the lymphatic system, right? And yes, Catherine, there's a couple of plants that I work with for lymphatic system. Um, Tina, Mom Virgo, I'm Pisces. We are a rocking mom daughter duo. Yeah, I know. That's the thing, is y'all are close. That's why I don't understand why I keep disconnecting you two. How did your You're saying because you enjoyed dealing with monsters? I think we're all like that. Like, we're not afraid of monsters at all. Like I said, we have been. You can only have so much fear before you begin to be like, whatever. I'm gonna fight back. You're not taking my fear. Right. Disease means dis-ease in your own body. You cause it by not living your truth. 100% psoriasis and stress go hand in hand, or food in hand. I would have flares when life was really rough. Right. Yeah, that's funny because Ellen, like she said, you cause it by not living your truth, right? But here's the thing. What's your truth? Do you know? Is it your truth? Is it what you were taught? Is it the religion that you were taught? Is it the culture that you were taught? What's your truth? That's what this Saturn in Pisces has been about. What is your truth? That's the Jupiter. That's the Uranus. What's your truth? That's Pluto. What do you believe in? What do you understand? So you could be thinking you're living the truth because that's what I was taught. I'm supposed to have the job. I'm supposed to go to college. I'm supposed to get the degree. I'm supposed to because that's what a good girl does. That's what a good boy does. That's what a good member of society does, right? And you really believe in it. I really want to be a doctor. I really want to be a lawyer. I really want to do this because you were taught that. You have to unmask all of that. That's why I do the hypnosis with the herbs as well as the coffee time. Like, that's why I do it the way that I do it. And as we're working, when I'm working with you, I'm teaching you modalities. I'm helping you understand how to do it yourself until you get it and you align. I haven't had a spot in years, not since we moved to Arizona. Good. I'm glad you got it. Not everybody gets it. Like, if you're having tummy aches, why are you having tummy aches? What's going on? What's the misalignment? And I've learned through science, through being a medium, that if you can connect that subconscious to your conscious and have them align, you can do anything. 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 That's the stuff they don't want y'all to know. Melaleuca? I don't. So, Athena, I don't know that I know what Melaleuca is. Do you know that, chance? I forgot. I'm sorry. I read that and then I went on to something else. What's maybe I've heard of it and don't remember. What is that? Oh, oh, Manuka honey. Is that what she's trying to say? Manuka honey. Is that what you're trying to say? Because I'm like, what's Melaleuca? No. Okay. It's when you said honey, I was like, is she trying to say Manuka honey? Hmm. Oh, okay. Nope, it's supplements. I think they used to be Amway. Okay. I don't. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what that is. I thought she was saying Manuka when you said honey, but that's okay. She'll be right back to tell us. She said, "Oh, it's brand. I thought it was an oil." Yeah, yeah, no, because I don't know what that is. But I don't know every plant. I don't know every plant. I know a lot of plants. I worked with a lot of plants. I've studied a lot of plants. I've seen the research on the NIH for a lot of plants. But I love laughing with you guys. But uh, if I don't know something, I'll ask because I don't know. I love to learn. So if I can find something new, that's great. No herbalist is going to know all plants. It's just like no astrologer is going to know all astrology, right? It's like it's a vast thing. And there are plants in the UK, and there are plants in um, the EU, there are plants in Japan, there are plants in Asia, there are plants in Africa. There's like different plants for different that we're used to, that those particular continents are used to, right? So um, there are certain ones that we like to use here on the West Coast, but there are certain ones that they use in the South. I loved going when I was back home. I was like, oh, let me play with this. Let me do this. Let me see what this is, right? I'm always learning in everywhere that I go too. Um, yeah, I love that. Yep, used to be Amway. The pink stuff is still one of the best products to scrub bathtub rings on the planet. Tammy says, "Why not? You're the teacher." Because the teacher's the teacher. Uh, well, because if I knew everything, then why am I here? I'm not supposed to know everything. Okay, professor. Then I have to learn too. My mind is so curious; it always wants to learn. And so, can you imagine if I already knew everything? I would be so bored here. Like I have to. It invigorates me to research. That's why I had the career that I had. I was good at it. I love the details. I love learning about something and it sticks in my brain. I don't know why it sticks in my brain. Like I might not even remember that your eyes are color blue or that somebody's name is something, but the fact that, this element has blah 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 blah, I'll remember that. I don't know. I just remember stuff, but most I don't remember. But formulas and I don't know, mathematics, stuff like that, science, anything like that, quantum physics, anything like that, like all that sticks to me. Tea tree, yeah. My parents sold Amway for a bit. My mother sold almost every door to door product out there. Wow. Avon, Tupperware, Princess House, Mary Kay. Wow. Listen, ain't no shame in your game. You got to do what you got to do. You know, you do what you do. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't think it was as bad then like it is now. It wasn't what it is now. They say teaching is learning twice. Yes. Thank you, Alejandra. Here's my girl. It is. It actually is. Teaching is learning twice. Yeah. But I love it. It's not like I know other people probably wouldn't want to do what I did for a living. They're like, oh my God, I couldn't even have all that in my brain, or I wouldn't. That's so boring. To me, it's just invigorating. It's exhilarating. It's like when I see two and two together, and I'm like, oh. And when I see a doctor with a brilliant mind or scientists with brilliant minds connect the dots, I'm like, yeah, now let's tell everybody. That's how it was. Like I told you, I would go to the doctor, I would go to the director and be like, hey, we got to do this study. I want to see this, blah, blah, blah. And he'd be like, we can't find the money. I'm like, let's call Elon. Let's call blah, blah, blah. Let's do da, da, da. I'm like, because they got to know. They got to know. I would get everybody excited about it. Nah, it was fun for her. She got to have tea parties with her friends, get free products, and make little spending money too. It was social, not like online parties today. Yeah. Teaching is for the patient folks. That is my disqualification. Yeah. Yeah. I like I don't think of it as teaching. I think of it as like sharing with you. It's like here's how like I see it a lot of the time. It's probably my Gemini and Saggy mind, right? Where I'm just like, oh my God, this is so much fun. I want to share it with my friends. I see it. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. Now the teacher comes in, that's a whole different story. Okay. That's the teacher. A good channeler always makes a good teacher. Going to work now. I will email you. Thank you and have a good evening. Bye, Karina. Thank you. Thank you for coming in, sweetheart. Have a great day at work. I learned plenty from you and your no nonsense advice, Chance. I ain't got time for sugarcoating. Yeah, exactly. Leos can share. Yeah, yeah. Leos can share. They've got big hearts. But yeah, this is how I see it. I'm like, oh, I want to share this. Like I see this, or I'm channeling something, or I get information, and I'm like, oh, I want to show them. Like I get excited like a kid. I was gonna say I was like that at work, but not all the time because we were dealing with some tough subjects, and there's a lot of downtime where they're not figuring it out, and we're not figuring it out, and we're running into a lot of stuff and all this bureaucracy and all this whatever, and you got to keep things away, and you got to make it really authentic and valid and da da da. Like it's just very, you know, you have to sign NDAs and blah 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 and da da da. That's the Gemini side for sure. Yeah, I'm like, let's play a game. Let's play a game. Let's see how many people with Cancer have partners who are really, really aggressive and angry. Let's play that game. And then I gotta like talk to everybody about playing the same game. Right? This is why Chance and I work well together. I'm the patient one. Yeah. Yeah, but Leos know their stuff. Whatever Leo wants to do, they're going to excel at it. So that's just the Leo. It irritates the crap out of most people. But it is what it is. You're the lion. You're a born leader. That's what you're meant to do. Yeah. Ooh, pick me, pick me. Yeah, exactly. That's interesting. All right, guys. Well, I can hear my grandbaby getting ready to go to bed. I have enjoyed this talk. I am going to change the thumbnail and use this thumbnail for tomorrow and this title and description for tomorrow. So I got to go and re-edit this. And I got to do it before the algorithm picks it up too much. Because I know people are going to come in here and be like, what the hell? They're not even talking about Uranus. But that's Uranus. Whatever we thought was going to happen, like that's the main. That's so funny. That is the main point of Uranus. The main point that I was going to teach y'all over everything else is whatever you think it's going to be, it's not. And that's Uranus. You know it. I live with him. Yeah, right? I bet y'all have so much fun together. I'll pick you, Chance, but you won't like what I say. You two need to chill and get it together so I don't have to come to Texas. I don't want to go to Texas. Good night, all. Night, Athena. Thank you, Cindy. You are so welcome. Thank you guys for coming in here. Thank you for hearting. Thank you for showing up every night. Thank you for being part of the conversation. Thank you for like scratching my brain. And thank you for Chance. Thank you for coming back and sharing your knowledge. Thank you all for bonding. Thank you all for opening your hearts. Um, yeah, I really, really, really enjoy this group. So I will see you guys tomorrow. We got a special guest. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.